Hey folks, it's time for your Wednesday update, and hopefully I can stop being spastic enough to get some water in me. As you can see, it's fairly warm outside by the way that I'm dressed. Shirt sleeves up, bandana on, and hey, I didn't want to make this public but there's that. Anyway, what I wanted to talk to you about more or less this week is a writer update for those who are keeping score. I know that if you're on my Patreon, you know that I've got two different pen names, one of which is for an experiment purpose, and I'm working on that story, but it's been really hard to finish because of so many different plot things that I've covered for my Patreon subscribers. But in the interim of all of trying to figure that out, I actually took some time and started to dig into some older work of mine that needed to get published, and it's ready to get published, but I hadn't had everything lined up the way that I wanted it to just yet for a variety of reasons, most of which tend to be personal, as we tend to do as an author. Stuff gets in the way. Well, anyway, what I'm actually working on right now, and provided this comes up because my machine is a little slow, is the technical, real follow-up to Endangered, which came out several years ago via the folks at Red Sage. I am actually taking that story completely apart for a variety of reasons. First and foremost is I'm breaking up the whole huge poly thing. And part of what I'm doing that for is a more mainstream appeal. We can have a menage in the story. I don't have a problem with that. My publishers don't either. But I'm going for a mass appeal, and I really want that to happen. And I really want that series to take off. So I'm going to have to play with it a little bit. And reality of it is, anyway, is that poly thing was more of a... I'm not even sure what you'd call it at this point, to be honest with you, because we had it set up to where effectively Joseph had his family, so he had Livia and Kissa, but then Joseph also had Isabella, because Isabella and Livia were a thing at the start of the series, and that's where things got out of control, because then you were going to have that whole setup, and then Isabella was going to have Istvan. And I just, after Red Sage rejected the piece, I just started thinking about this and was like, let me just simplify all this. Because Red Sage pulled the idea behind it. They got first writer refusal, but they pulled the idea because they weren't really going in the menage direction. So, okay, that's cool. No worries there. But I did want to go ahead and get the story out. Zoom text should be doing things for me. It's not doing for me. Now it goes and does the thing. Anyway, I want to get the story out because I'm literally, well, quite frankly, I'm sitting on about 5 or 6 full-length finished first drafts or several, or novels that are in various stages of draft mode, and they need to come out. If I'm going to play this as a numbers game and a quality of story game and fixing my own issues, because you guys know I don't edit my own work right now, I am with this because I have to pull so much of it apart simply because the story has, well, so many flaws, really. I didn't realize at the beginning of the story when I was going over this the first time, I'd say about 10 years ago, when I wrote the damn thing, that I had inconsistencies from page 1. And that needed to be fixed, and now I can see them. I don't know if it's even my Zoom text software allowed me a different viewpoint because I have the color inversion thing turned on here. You guys probably can't see that from here. So, this feature here, yeah, I know, phone. Yeah, well, it's crappy now because of the difference in light, but you get the point. Having it set up this way, with regard to the enlargement of the screen and the color inversion, maybe that's giving me a different way of looking at things or seeing the story, because it is a story that I've worked with for several decades almost now, for 2 decades almost now. I wrote this thing back in 2005. I know it's not 20 years since, but it seems that way. But it's time for it to come out. There is a third book, officially full-length novel. I am 20,000 words into that. Luckily, all I gotta do is scrap most of that and rewrite from the ground up, and it's Dave's story. And then decide how I want to proceed with regard to the series, Knights of Lust series. I wrote this series before Underworld came out, and it just became one of those things where when I was taking on the idea of Endangered to begin with, it was going to be a Shifter vampire war, and then Underworld came out, and I said, well, screw it, I'll do it anyway, because it's going to be different for a variety of reasons, but, you know, is what it is. So there's that in the mix, and I'm really stoked about how it's coming apart, despite the fact that if I pull up Scrivener right now, which I'll do, you will see, I won't be able to get it to you guys right now, but you'll see that I literally cut paragraph after paragraph after paragraph after section, made notes on things, jotted them down to get consistency out there, to pull apart crap that doesn't belong here anymore, to start putting in some of the jealousy elements, because this was going to kind of read the way that the Black Dagger Brotherhood reads, sort of, or some of the later Christine Feehan novels read. Only it was going to come out from me before they did. Obviously, they got there first, and that's great. Paved the way for me. But I wanted to do some different things with the relationship anyway, so that's where I'm at. We are finishing up for Outreach International, Booze, Sex, and Drugs, a class on what writers get wrong and how to fix that. Finish that up Friday. I teach that again, and the version I teach again is going to be modified slightly due to some feedback that I'm asking for from students at Outreach International. I know I've got a male point of view class coming up soon too. Other than that, I'm just sitting here living the dream, basically. I've got blog stuff to do for one client over the weekend, and I want to get this off my desk by Monday. And on a more personal note, I have my first driving lesson in I don't know how many years, the 4th of next week, next month officially, but next week still too. And I haven't been behind the wheel of a car in quite a long time, and I'm not sure how I feel about it. Despite the fact that some of you have probably seen me claim online that I want a motorcycle. Well, I do. I'll have one, you watch. Anyway, I guess that's it for now. I just want to get some content up there. We'll do a writing tip next week. Maybe I'll do one live. I don't know, but we'll see. Anyway, if you're checking this out on one of my websites or my YouTube channel, please like and subscribe, share with your friends. I hope to have some more content out there. And for that matter, I've been doing this for 18 years. If you guys want to know a particular thing about publishing, leave me a note in the comments. I get emails on that sort of thing when people do that, and I respond pretty quickly when I can. Obviously, I've got Frelicon coming up next month, so for about 3 or 4 days, I'll be MIA because I'll be busy with that. But leave me a comment, leave me a question. What do you need to know about publishing, or want to know about publishing? Or what do you want me to cover? How bad should I try to stop being spastic when I had too much caffeine? Alright, I guess that's it for now. Thank you for watching. Like I said, if you like it, show me some love. If you've got the ability to. Literally, just realized this today. If you pledge $1 a month to my Patreon campaign, you're paying for my heart medicine. Yeah, I pulled that card. I'm going to keep that in here too. Alright folks, enough guilt. Talk to you soon, see you in a week, and yeah, that's what's up. Cheers.